And
I saw that.
mine is through the university, so I have,
Uh-oh.
yeah, it says that you're in the waiting room, Lee. What's that?
I don't know. I was trying to enter on my laptop
Well,
because I have you all on my phone. Oh wait, there we are. Okay. Okie dokie.
So how's everybody doing?
Okay, and yourself?
Uh,
Okay.
I'm doing very well.
Great. Ready for the Super Bowl?
Ready.
All right.
Okay.
It's always fun to watch the game and the commercials.
Yes, I'm in it for the commercials and halftime. That's it.
I'm in it for the commercials and the food.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me come out of here.
Yeah, wait, once you get out of there, then let's start because there's a bad echo now.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay.
How was your meeting, Patricia?
There
My
we
last
go.
meeting.
Okay.
Wait, how was my what?
Meeting. Remember you talked to me the other day and you said, well, I got to go to a meeting, got to run.
I go from meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting. That's all I do. So I couldn't even tell you which meeting it was, but I'm sure it was wonderful. I'm in the process of placing 29 students right now in internships for the PRSS training program. So it's a busy time.
Oh, okay. Always at the beginning of the semester is busy.
Well, and then this weekend, yesterday, I was at the university and we have like 33 additional students starting for the next program. So it's continuum of new people and new things. So it's good. It's interesting. Lee, can you not get your camera on?
No, I cannot.
Are you on your computer now?
Yes, I'm on my computer now.
The
I clicked
bottom,
video.
yeah, on the bottom
Yep.
left-hand corner next to mute, it should be start video.
Here is an audio video participants for chat. Okay, don't know why it's not coming on. I came out of the meeting. Oh, this is not good. Okay. With my audio, stop video. I don't know where my video
Click
is.
on that, click on the stop video where you were, click on that.
Up here?
Well, no, on mine, it's on the bottom left-hand side.
Oh yeah, okay. Start. So I stopped it.
Well, and now look on the top of your computer where your camera is. There's a little sliding thing. Perhaps you have that closed for your camera lens.
Okay.
Because it changed. It had a little camera with the line through it, and now that went away.
Well, I just don't know why I can't get it. But I guess we can go on ahead and start. Uh-oh.
We can start, and then if you just, I'm sure that if you know you're having technical difficulties, I'm sure if you're engaging in our conversation that, I mean, I would assume that that would count as you being here.
Agreed.
Yeah, see, because now, do you guys see that? The camera with the line across it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm on my computer now. So
So
I don't know.
I think we're okay.
Yeah.
can you see me now? Oh shoot.
Yeah, I see
Can
everybody. You all just can't see me.
Oh.
I don't know why, but yeah. So I see everybody.
The only thing you might want to do is log out of the session and try one more time to come back in.
Yeah, you know what? I think I don't know how this could be, but I just got a pop-up that says you're in the Teams. I don't know how that could be.
Okay, okay.
Make sure you go into the Zoom one.
I think what
And
happened
log
was
out of the Teams one.
I think what happened was I
Or you maybe
tried the Teams first,
okay.
and then I couldn't get into Teams. So I'm looking to make sure that I am out of
Yeah, I
Teams.
think you're out of it because you're in this meeting now. Do you want to just go ahead and just not have your picture up, Lee?
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, if you're okay with it, is everyone else okay with that?
I'm okay with it. Because I don't want to hold you all up, you know. I'm ready to get it going.
Well, do you want to go out and come back in like Ron suggested one more time?
I can try it, sure. Okay, just a moment. Okay.
Technology is
Try it
not
one
ever
more
fun.
time.
I don't see you guys, but I see myself on here, but I don't see you guys in here.
That's a
Let me go in.
setting.
That's just a setting.
Yeah, I don't know. What are you using? Your phone?
I got my phone on, but I was able to put it on my computer.
If
So
you look to, let's see, how do you do it? Yeah, there's a up on the top right. You can click on how you want to see. It says view with a square,
mhm.
and it's speaker, gallery, or multi-speaker. Do you see
Yeah,
that?
I see gallery and speaker.
So click on gallery maybe.
I don't see anything.
Okay.
Hmm.
So it's the
Well,
same thing with me. I don't understand.
well, why don't we go ahead and start and
Yeah, yeah. You may as well.
Want me to read the questions?
please.
All right. I always have the, I'm always prepared. Okay, so it says tip 41, chapter 2 explores 5 group models mainly utilized in substance abuse treatment. Which of these do you feel you are strong in facilitating? Which do you see a challenge? What reasons support this? Is there a particular group you really want to try? And how do you,
I think we're on the next one.
I'm on the wrong one?
I think so.
What?
Didn't we do that last week?
No,
Oh my goodness.
Well,
that's the one I got.
I have which do you feel you are strong in facilitating? As far as the groups, it's like 5 of them. Tip chapter 2.
Yeah, okay, I'm reading the wrong thing then. Okay.
Oh, you are?
No,
That's
I'm not. No, I'm not. That's exactly
oh,
what I
I'm
got.
saying that's the questions we have to answer.
Yeah, that's what I have too.
Yeah, I'm like, please don't tell me that all the reading I done did.
I
Wait,
know, right?
yeah, it says wait.
You might be. Okay.
Oh, no. It says chapter 2, 5 group models mainly utilized in substance abuse treatment. Which of these do you feel you are strong in facilitating? Am I the wrong one, Ren?
No, you're right. I'm wrong.
Oh, no, that's right.
But I am ready to do the other one too. So
Look at
Oh, good
you.
for
look at
you.
me. I'm pretty
It's always good
amazing.
when you scared me because I'm like, am I losing my mind? Okay, so the 5 groups are psychoeducational groups, skills development groups, cognitive behavioral problem solving groups, support groups, interpersonal groups. So who would like to answer first? Ron,
Well,
since
I'll
you're
go since my picture isn't up.
Yeah, I think the psychoeducational group is, at
Mhm.
least in my mind, seems to be the easiest to facilitate. And so, because in some way it's educational, and while there's discussion and interaction, it's not a processing group, which to me seems to be, at least for me, the most challenging when you're thinking about group dynamics. And so, yeah, and I'm familiar with kind of psychoeducational models and doing it. And so, boy, I have very little familiarity with kind of groups where there's a leader that facilitates processing. I'm fairly I understand like 12 steps, groups and stuff, but that's all the kind of cycle processing groups seem pretty, new to me.
That's interesting because I put that down too as psychoeducational and I wrote it that it's designed to educate clients in substance abuse and relate behavior and consequences. I like it because it's structured and that I think that it's group specific, that has group specific and that I could prepare for it. Because as you guys can see, I need to prepare and have things like in order. That to me makes me feel like more like I have the situation not in control, but like I know what I'm doing. Where I agree with you, Ron, I feel the same way. I think that there's just so much to learn. And I don't think until I have more knowledge and like additional theoretical and practical knowledge of facilitating a group, I don't think I'll really feel comfortable.
Mhm.
Okay.
I want to say, just to add what Patricia was saying, oh, I thought about that too. The psychoeducational group, it would seem easy. And I think some of the characteristics of a leader would be, and they talked about that in tip chapter 2. You got to be caring, and you have to have warmth and genuineness, positive regard for others, knowledge and skills and group processing. And then it says something about the basic teaching skills, and that's like being an active listener, organizational, and just trying to get everybody involved in the group. So your core, to me, characteristics in that psychoeducational group would be those things about the person, you as a person, and your leadership skills. Did you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
That one seemed easy because you got uh, uh, books and literature to kind of help you go through that course, and you're able to pass things out. And to me, it seems structured. I think that seems structured.
Right. And it
Yeah.
sounds like some of the other, like the interpersonal processing groups require quite a bit more training that is experience based. I mean, there's knowledge involved, but you're going to have to do it some before you have a level of competency that's beneficial.
Yeah, I think so too. Right.
Well, I also almost put that one down, the psychoeducational. But then the reason that I didn't was not that I didn't agree with it or anything like that, but I felt that I would be strong in facilitating the cognitive behavioral group because and the skill or either a skills development group because if a person is on substance abuse, sometimes, well, most of the time, but sometimes they don't have the interpersonal skills, and they
Okay.
need to develop those interpersonal skills that they've possibly lost or possibly never had, and they need more, and they need to learn how to cope under certain, how to cope under certain situations, and they need to learn like how to become emotionally stable. They need to learn different uh, coping skills of how to um, refrain from abstinence first before they can get to that point. It depends on what point they're in their addiction. And then I thought about the skills development group because sometimes if a person that abuses substances relapse, then they need to build their self-esteem and they need to um, learn how to use their brain for different things as opposed to abusing substances. They would need to I would say like maybe get in an art therapy class, something that deals with something that can build their self-esteem. So when they get to a certain point in their addiction, if they relapse, they would know those other coping skills of learning to control their emotions and learning how to do other things as opposed to um, abusing substances.
That's really good, Lee. I think that's really a good perspective. And what I heard you say was that skill development group are going to help the individuals with we always talk about recovery capital. And those are like the tools that they have in their toolbox for their recovery and their health. So I think that was really good. And you made me look at my answer a little differently too, because I think cognitive behavioral therapy, I think everyone should have those skills. I would like to go into schools and teach them to 7th and 8th graders because I think that's really lacking today. So you're making me
Yeah.
change my answer.
You
Uh-oh.
know,
No,
I
keep your answer. That's
I
okay.
started off, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I did start off with that cognitive behavior group. And the reason why I did was because it deals with co-occurring disorders. And
Mhm.
that's something
That's
that, yeah, that was something.
that's another reason why I selected it is because they have is because if a person has anxiety and they're using substances um to get rid of the anxiety, or so they think, to get rid of the anxiety, that's another coping mechanism that needs to be learned by the substance abuser.
They gave a great example in that tips chapter too. The example was, if there was a woman who had was struggling with PTSD or substance abuse, with the cognitive behavior groups, they can educate or promote self-control. They can
Mm-hmm.
teach them certain materials on how to, avoid relapse. And it was just
Right.
a whole lot of different things that I read when it came to that cognitive behavior group.
Yeah, and then too, that cognitive behavioral group, it's like it interlaps with the psychoeducational group
Well,
because
yeah, yeah.
because you're still gonna eventually, deal with educational materials,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna eventually still deal with um learning different new ways of thinking
Yes.
and acknowledging your behaviors. Well, if I think about this, I'm going to get upset and I'm going to relapse. Well, if I go on this around these people, I'm going to relapse again. So it's just thinking, changing your way of thinking. That's what I
Yeah.
got from it.
But then, did you read about the leadership skills in cognitive behavioral groups?
Yes, you have to be skilled. It takes skill, and you have to have training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That. And then too, it said it was you're helping to work to develop social networks to support abstinence, when it comes to drug abuse or addiction. That's a
Mhm.
good one though, but also uh, those 5 groups that we have that are commonly used in substance abuse, they are like what's the word where you can use one and the other one. It's not just one set.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
they
like they
complement one
all.
another and they're interconnected or interrelated.
Yep.
Yes, right.
Yep. That's what I got from it too. Because eventually it seems as though you're gonna use one facet of one um, group type to interact with another group type, and then eventually, you'll come out with the same good outcome, but it's like you're gonna select from different types of groups, different facets of each group.
They gave a good it was like figure 2 or 1 2/1, the group types. And
Mm-hmm.
then they broke it down in the 5 groups. And if you had these issues, I thought that was really good, where you could use more than one group. What is it? The group treatment plan. It
Mm-hmm.
just depends on what that person is going through. you know. So
Right.
that one was really nice. Figure 2/1 and tips chapter 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like those figures that they came out with in those different scenarios. I
Right.
really enjoyed those.
It was a, it wasn't a long chapter, but it was a chapter full of a lot of information to
Mm-hmm.
me, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because I was like, it's just so much. It took me a couple of days to just kind of really begin to understand all of the different groups and all of the things that are involved in the groups. And then they turn around and say, well, not just one group fits one particular person. It's a combination of possibly all
Mm-hmm.
the groups, you know.
All of them, right.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool.
The second part of the question, it says, which do you see as a challenge? And I think we've kind of covered a lot of that. My thing is that like when I am currently leading a group or co-facilitating a group, my biggest challenge is getting someone back on track. You know, like I have someone currently that's in a group and they will just start going off on like things that have no 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 connection to what we're talking about. And so I think for me that will be the hardest part of ever facilitating a group, is trying to reel the person back in and get them back onto task, in regardless of what the group is that I'm leading.
Okay. Um, the group that I think that I would have a hard time with, not so much as a hard time, but maybe an issue or some challenges, would be the support group. Only because um everyone might not be in the same stage of recovery. And although everyone is there for support to keep the other members along with themselves um, refraining from substances, the interpersonal skills might not be the same because not everybody has gone through like the cognitive group or the skills group to learn interpersonal skills. And they may have some anger issues or they have some emotional issues, and that could be upsetting for the rest of the support group. Or like a person that um, is not serious about recovery, and then they want to go to a support group to try to abstain from using, but they are still in that mode of not being able to act on an interpersonal level. And if they've used, then they may have gone back to some of the old behaviors and ways of thinking. So for me, that might be a challenge because when they come to the group and they're still in that old frame of mind, I would have to help them get back on track.
So you're saying what I'm hearing you say, how do you go about minimizing confrontation? Because
Yes.
I think the support group is like a peer generated or a peer led group.
Mhm.
So by you being the facilitator, how do you kind of keep the group somewhat on the same page? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but
Yep.
how do you
That's,
avoid
yep.
confrontation?
Because like I said, if someone is out has been out abusing substances, you don't know what kind of frame of mind they're in when they come to the group. This is what I've witnessed. Sometimes when people have been out abusing and they come back to the group because they say like they've been abusing, and then they say, well, I want to get back on track to remain sober, so I can get sober. But then some of those old behaviors come out, like being emotionally unstable, being aggressive, being angry, because they're mad because they're not in the same frame of mind because they've been using. So to me, that's what I found that might be a challenge.
I'm gonna ask Ron that. If you were to facilitate a social support group, how would you minimize the confrontation or help the clients be on the same page?
Well, depending upon what it is, I think I would try to use it as a springboard for conversation. So
Mhm.
just turning it into some kind of open-ended question,
Mhm.
either to the person who's in, kind of the catalyst for the conflict, or the person, on the receiving end, or however it's manifesting itself. What's going on underneath this? Why is this bringing such strong emotions? It seems to me that I'm feeling some defensiveness. Could you tell me more about that? And just seeing what happens with it. My understanding of a support group is not to interject a lot of what I think is happening, but just creating space for people to talk about themselves,
Mhm.
making sure that's protected, but not
Mhm.
ignoring the conflict if I can help it. Because that usually means something really good is happening. Just that
Mhm.
it's people, like all of us,
Mhm.
I get in fights with my wife, but underneath it are real important things that if we, I'm smart enough to slow down,
Mhm.
I can, really say what's happening underneath. So that's what I try to do, I think.
Would you say that a social group is like a 12-step or AA group?
I think it's something like that. The support
Yeah.
group, I think so. What do you guys think?
I would
It's
say so.
something similar to that. So it's
Uh,
peer focused.
Yeah, yeah, because it's peer focused.
Yeah. So there's not a lot of training or techniques or anything. What do you say about that?
No, I'm sure there is. It's different than a 12-step group because it's in a therapeutic.
I actually took a screenshot of the characteristics of the 5 groups. And the support group has group leader focus is low to moderate. The specificity of the group agenda is open-ended. It lasts 45 to 90 minutes, and it says that the level of facilitator activity is specialized training with process-oriented. So it's similar, but I think because it's still being led by someone that's a little more specific. And the one and when you were talking, Ron, was that like in some of our groups, when someone is really having a difficult time, we could give them resources for additional support outside of the
Right.
group.
Yeah,
That was the one thing that I thought of.
it's good.
Mhm. I agree.
Um, Going to the question of the question around, what I'm most interested in doing. I'm really interested in the interpersonal processing group, because it's really around, I did some research last semester around like root foundational, sources of addiction. And it seems to me that it's almost all interpersonal, that when we don't make connections when we're young, for whatever reason, whether overt or covert, or, that we're seeking that the rest of our lives, and addiction fills that. And interpersonal processing groups seem to be one of the places where people can begin to explore that and begin to reimagine relationships and come to terms with what they missed out on, and how that might be healed or restored.
Yeah, they focus on healing, the interpersonal
Yeah,
processing group.
Mhm.
that's
Psychotherapy is
interesting to
focused.
me. And I
Yeah.
feel the least prepared to lead something like that, but it does seem really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I yeah, I would feel like that as well. Um, Only because it's more psychoanalytical, like dealing with whatever happened in the past could be affecting you now, and that's leading you to abuse substances and things of that nature. But then I was kind of conflicted about it only because when you're dealing with um, substance abusers, it's true you have to deal with the here and now and meet them where they're at. But at the same time, um, something could have happened during their childhood that made them use. They could have had an experience, or that, or either it could have been their social setting. It could have been their
Yeah, that's good.
environment. But whatever it was in the past. So I was kind of conflicted about that, but I did like it. But I was still kind of conflicted with it because I'm like, if you're in a group, and then if you allow, just say you have 8 group members, and out of those 8 group members, 5 of them discuss their childhoods or something that happened in their past, it can become, maybe, I would say, lengthy, but perhaps some other the group members may become annoyed because they might feel like, well, this person is getting all of the attention. What about me?
Yeah,
But
that's
I
where
did
leadership
like it.
really matters, huh?
Yeah, the training and the leadership. And as I was reading everything, I'm like, wow. So you really have to have the good training and the good skills to just pick out things. That's what it seemed like to me. To be aware of different cues, different observations of this group person, that group person. Is this group person ready? Is this group person, what stage of recovery are they in?
Yeah, that's a
Once
good point.
everybody gets together. So I was kind of on the fence, but I did like that one because sometimes that's what a lot of substance abusers are dealing with, for things from their past.
Hmm.
I heard everyone say the same thing, that we're talking about adverse childhood experiences being a big part of what has led us to, substance abuse. So the final question is, how do you see diversity issues influencing how you approach this particular group you want to try?
Well,
That's
that
another.
won't be a problem for me because I've been in not I've been in, but I would say that I grew up in the rainbow family, I would call it, different cultures and different nationalities. So I don't think I would have a problem at all.
Yeah, I think there's a huge learning curve, kind of creating groups where they mesh when there's a lot of differences. My experience has been that, addiction seems to be a flattening of the ground. And so that's
That's a
been my
nice way to put it.
experience that, boy, even when I've been in groups where there's a lot of differences. If we're both kind of dealing with the same thing and trying to figure a way out, that brings a level of similarity that creates a kind of bond that's, I think, different than other groups, actually. And
Hmm.
so,
I agree.
but I do
As
think that, yeah, I do think people can come into a group and not, if they don't feel like, who they are or the way they perceive themselves is accepted or understood or honored, that's a challenge for the group and the leader to do what they can to make sure people feel welcomed and safe.
well, it goes back to specialized training. At some point, you got to have training for, dealing with culturally sensitive. Uh, I'm not gonna say culturally sensitive, but the different groups of people.
Multicultural, yeah.
Yeah, multicultural. That's what I'm trying to say. You do.
But that wouldn't bother me though.
That
Not
would
at
bother.
all. No, no, I'm saying it wouldn't.
Yeah, it's
It
your
wouldn't. But
strength, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But then they say too, at some point, you got to know some of the, like I read, criminal justice penalties, child protective services, what could happen with the welfare to work programs and setbacks. So, you can be culturally diverse, but then there are other factors in some groups that you have to know a little bit on. You understand what I'm saying? Like somebody
Yeah,
has to
that's a really
be
good point.
mandated. Yeah,
That
that's
culture is more than race or gender, or it's
right.
economic, it's justice
Right.
oriented.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's
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 social.
nuanced. Yeah.
Mhm.
I wrote down that, that we have to understand the range of cultural similarities and differences. And I love when Ron said that you have to make the people feel. I took notes from our Corey book, The Theory and Practice of Group Counseling, and it said that it quoted DeLuca from 1996, and it says that that states that multicultural context of group work requires attention to two tasks: the application and modification of theories and techniques of group works to different cultures in ways that are congruent with the cultural beliefs and behaviors. And the second was the development of the theory and practice of group work that makes full use of diversity among members as a way to facilitate change and growth. I thought that that really kind of answered the question.
That's
It
good.
did. Yep,
Yeah.
it did. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I think that's all of our questions for today.
You guys are so fun to talk with. This is so helpful.
I'm
It
so
really
thankful.
is.
Yeah, I'm
This
so
is the best
thankful.
experience I've had in in a class around discussion. So
I agree
Thank you.
100%. I think it's what's missing in our online classes. So I'm thankful for all of you too,
Oh,
really.
and I'm thankful for all of you because it makes me look at things from different perspectives.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Look at us,
Mhm.
multicultural.
That is
Yeah.
that the truth. But
Yeah.
I saw something in the tips. It says 3 cautionary notes. No single approach is more appropriate than any other. And number 2, is this approach the most likely to succeed with this particular group? These are things you should keep in mind. And number 3, what works for the client with addiction will not always work with the client without an addiction. That stands out to me when they talked about just focusing on groups as a whole. I always keep those things in mind. I know we're about to go, but then what I didn't understand is the dynamics. Remember they talked about something about dynamics. It was 3 of them. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
No.
Dynamics of the group.
It was dynamics, and it was group dynamics, interpersonal dynamics, and individual dynamics. We never talked about that. But yeah, that was just something. I don't know if we'll get a question on one of our tests about that, about the group dynamics. And they were separated in 3 different groups, you know. But anyway, I enjoy everyone. We all have different perspectives. And I learned something every time we meet up with each other.
I do too. It always, every time we meet, it makes me look at perspectives I mean, look at things from different perspectives and
Yes,
objectives, you know,
that,
from different ways
that is
and
true.
how those ways can be incorporated.
Yes, yes.
So
We
that's
end
what I
up,
really enjoy about it too.
yeah. I end up understanding where everybody comes from. That's what I
Mhm,
would say. Yeah.
mhm.
Okay, my friends. Patricia, I see that it's recording, so if you get the link.
I'll send it right to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you
Okay.
again for downloading it and putting
Oh,
it
it
into
only takes me a minute. It's
Thank
easy
you
to
so
do.
much.
Thank you,
All
Ron.
right.
You bet. God
I
bless you guys.
appreciate
Bye-bye.
all of
Bye,
you.
guys. Go
All right.
Chiefs.
Bye.
Go Chiefs. Okay. Bye-bye.